Okay, back. Here we go. We're looking at the first chapter. This is Rec 120, Chapter 1, Lesson 1, Part 2. And with Part 2, we're starting on the factor number 4. Okay, and if you're followed by PowerPoint, the PowerPoint might be slightly different than what I'm talking about, but it's pretty much the same thing. So keep going with that. We're looking at the commodification of leisure, and that's a big word there, commodification. But it's good though. It gives the professor something to do to come up with the big words and make recreation sound really, really intelligent. But really, what that is recreation business. Is that there are companies, entrepreneurs, individuals, and very small businesses out there, all across the board, that have seen that profit can be made with recreation. And even if they're not making a lot of profit, okay, they're still making a salary. Main difference between a non-profit and a for-profit is the top of the pyramid in terms of money, just the profit part. There's many people that work at a non-profit that make 6 figures or more. So don't be confused by that. Non-profits usually tell you that they don't make anything, and there's a lot of truth to that. But just look at those that run the non-profit and see how much they make in terms of salary, and they can make even more than someone who's running a corporation. So you've got two types. You got the non-profit and the profit businesses capitalizing, which is fine, on recreation. Look at Walt Disney and what he did just with his theme parks. Just one segment of the business with his theme parks, and it's been joy and excitement for just millions and millions of children and families for many years now. And you might think of all the recreational opportunities here in the Valley. I know that back in the early 80s, there was one place to hit a baseball in Phoenix. And it was outside, and they had those really, greasy helmets you had to put on your head, and it was really hot outside, and the bats, everything was just greasy and sweaty, and pretty disgusting. But that was it. You just had the one game in town, and they ruled. Now you've got indoor batting cages, indoor places to pitch, all over the valley. What a great business idea. What a great way so people can come in and have the air conditioning, and during the off season and the on season for baseball, they can do batting practice and pitch inside, nice and cool, usually for a real reasonable fee. And there you go. You got the commodification of leisure. You've got people making money while providing something that's enjoyable for families, for kids, for whoever the clientele is. If you're interested more in understanding the recreation business, Rec 220, or recreation programming, Rec 230. Rec 230, recreation programming, is a class that I teach, and we go over and break down how businesses and for-profit, non-profit, government, how they make money, how they manage, and basically how they commodify leisure. So an interesting class. Rec majors, it's required. It's Rec 230. Recreation programming. Okay, so you might be interested in that. The other thing, though, is I want to mention as we're going through this, remember that the overall goal, the number one goal of recreation, of the recreation industry, this is spoken and unspoken, is to improve the quality of someone's life. That is our golden rule of recreation. Is that recreation exists to improve the quality of life. This is something you'll definitely need to remember. If you can remember one thing from the class, recreation improves the quality of life. And so we should see that even if you're paying for it, it should be improving your life. Whether you go to the batting cage, your skills improve, you have fun, and maybe you just don't sweat. All that together has an improvement, a quality to your life. So it's pretty exciting to be involved in the business that is all about improving the quality of one's life. People might have an epic, disastrous vacation, but they'll still have a really good memory. Okay, so let's moving on here. Let's look at population trends. Okay, so we live in a big diverse place, right? But probably how we best see diversity or diversification of the population in terms of how it relates to recreation is usually by age. Okay, you've got the young, you've the elementary school kids, the middle school, high school, college. You've got all these significant age groups that participate in recreation, and they participate in different types of recreation. I mean, from the video games to, okay, now I like to work out and go to clubs, okay, or now I become a senior and I like to take classes at the local recreation center and be with groups and play bingo. I mean, that is the best breakdown, or the most significant thing to look at in recreation is recreation by age. And yes, there's some racial or ethnic differences about what cultures like, how certain cultures view recreation and what they like to participate in. But for the most part, we're looking at age and we're looking at lifestyle. And this is interesting, so we'll look at that throughout the class. We're moving on to Factor 5. Factor 5, we're looking at I don't know if maybe I'll skip that factor, but Factor 5 is where people live. And it's important to note that how we have structured our residential society has a lot to do with the kind of recreational pursuits you go after. Just think about some of you who have just recently been shopping for a place to live. Probably an apartment you were looking at, and maybe there were some kind of factors in that decision of what apartment to rent may come to view. And some of those, of course, would be price. I'm sure it is price, and how big the place was and where it was located. Okay, those are 3 laws of real estate right there. But after that, there might be some other factors that influenced you. Chances are the apartment complex may have something to offer in the realm of amenities. Maybe you're a tennis player and the one apartment complex had a tennis court, the other one didn't, and they were similar locations in price and square foot. So chances are you chose the one with the tennis court. Okay. So where you live, where you choose to live, there is recreational influence, recreational decisions that you make. Some of you want to live maybe close to downtown Scottsdale because of the good nightlife. Okay, that's recreation. That's an influence right there. And so you've got that. You've got urban. You've got suburban. You've got ex-urban. Okay. So these things will pop up as we go through the class. But another major factor, okay, in that $74 billion industry, recreation exists to improve the quality of your life, is where you live. Okay? And where you live determines what recreational opportunities you have available to you. So some more factors is we're looking at the influence of technology, and I kind of already mentioned that. That computers and prosthetics and all of the technology that's involved in the recreation field, okay, allows you more ease and more ability and more access to participate in recreation. So the easier it is, the higher chances are that you will participate, and that's great. And it's the way it should be. Another factor we're looking at is, I'd say, factor 8 is health and fitness, or the health and fitness movement. Now, the health and fitness movement was, I wouldn't even say outdated. I mean, it wasn't even around before the 50s. Most of you, I would say 90% plus, growing up, probably had some sort of influence from some type of health or fitness movement. That could have been the presidential fitness test that you took in your PE class. That could have been maybe one of your parents liked to work out, or were a sports player, either a recreational sports player, kind of just on the evenings, a softball league or something like that, or maybe they were a semi-pro or pro, or used to be, or played in college. Okay, so you have a health and fitness mindset. Okay, maybe right now you work out a lot. Okay, you somehow got this mindset, and so we're wondering, where did this mindset come from? Before the 50s, there was no, I'm going to go work out now. oh, I'm going to go work out before we go out tonight. It didn't exist. Manual labor was more common in the blue-collar or the industrial revolution workplace. And once you hit the 50s, you actually had a health and fitness movement. And there are many individuals in this movement that helped it along, and we'll talk about it more later in class. But now, to grow up without thinking that keeping in shape, having a good diet, playing sports or recreating and getting out and just enjoying the outdoors, that if you didn't have that mindset now, you are definitely in the significant minority. Because that mindset is taught, it's taught by our parents, it's reinforced in schools and TV and all these different institutions we participate in.